which has been launched for Dynamics 365 Business Central, and it's an add-on for project-centric industries like contractors, people in the infrastructure industry, interior fit-out players, and so on. So the agenda of the call is the session is to go through a high-level presentation for a few minutes, and then my colleague Prakash will go through a demo of the product, and then we can take up any question and answer you might have. Okay, so that's the agenda. Okay, so NowBuild as a solution is being built on top of Dynamics 365 Business Central, and as a single platform of Business Central, which has all the modules like financial management, supply chain, manufacturing, and so on. What we have done is we have extended the jobs module to specifically cater to the various needs of a construction company or any project-driven company. Okay. So whether it be helping you with the estimations in terms of arriving at the baseline budgets, being able to manage various types of contracts, manage your subcontractors, and being able to manage your project schedules by way of integration with the scheduling software like Microsoft Projects or Primavera, and integrated procurement module in line with the project budget, and various add-on tools on top of NowBuild like payroll, maintenance management, or customer portal or vendor portal, and so on. Okay. So these are all some of the various functionalities which are available. As a solution, this has been in existence from maybe 2009 itself, and we have been consistently porting it to various versions like 2013, 16, 17, 18, and now into Business Central with the extensions approach. And NowBuild is available in App Stores as an add-on. So any of your customers, if they want to use NowBuild, they can just look it up on App Stores and try it on their tenants. It's available for, of course, on-prem deployments of VC as well. Okay, so it's a cloud-ready solution like Business Central. So we have touch points with Power BI, we use Flow within the software. We have a site app built on Power Apps and things like that. So it's a complete native cloud solution. Various kind of industries we address through our solution is one is the real estate and the construction industry, interior design, people who are into HVAC or MEP kind of projects, and EPC, which is typically the infrastructure, building of bridges, roads, dams, and so on. And the emerging technology like precast, pre-active buildings. So for them also it's for a project. And we've got people who are into building materials as well. Okay. And some of the deployments we have done where we have partnered with people, or we have done direct implementations as well in markets like India, Sri Lanka, Far East, Middle East, and Africa. And not only NowBuild, we have other listings on App Stores as well. We have Paypro, which is the payroll module for right now available for Middle East region alone. And we have the vendor portal, the BMP 365, which works on top of Business Central and MAD as well. And we have a completely homegrown solution called FOS 365, which is for home delivery, food delivery, food takeaway management platform for restaurants. And we have a connector for Business Central. All these are listed on source. And I will hand over to Prakash Krishnan, who heads the Dynamics MAD or Business Central practice in CTAS, to take us through the demo.
Yeah, thanks, Murli. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, Do you have any people who are not aware of Navision or BC functionalities? So please let me know so that I can cover the basic BC or Business Central functionalities. Otherwise, I will straight away jump into NABuild modules.
Prakash, if you could able to help me with the basics, I have clear idea of that, but like still hearing from an expert would be like very helpful if you could able to cover me the basics at least, so I can get it from you guys as well.
Sure. So are you able to see my screen? Okay.
Yes, better.
So, okay. So this is a Business Central, Dynamics 365 Business Central homepage. So this is basically based on the user roles. You can get the dashboards or home screen based on the user role. So for example, I logged in as a quality surveyor, QS team member, so that whatever the information a QS person require on day-to-day basis, so that will be available on the dashboards. Okay. So I'll just start with the NABuild functionalities. So wherever the Navision functionality is required, we'll touch upon the Navision's financial model or other models as well. Okay.
Sure.
Is that okay for you?
Yeah.
So when it comes to NABuild, so basically whenever there are some inquiries from your customers, so obviously you will start capturing those information as an opportunity in the system. So Business Central have the functionality of basic CRM functionalities are available, meaning you can track your inquiries starting from creating a contact masters or creating an opportunity. In opportunity, there could be multiple cycles. Basically, it depends on the industry to industry. So you can track the current cycle or current status of an opportunity. So when it comes to the proposal stage or pre-bidding stage, you should be in a position to submit the quotation to the customer, right? So in that case, you need to prepare the estimation, project estimation in the NABuild models. Okay, so these are the estimations. So I have multiple estimations created in the system. You can track them, those estimations. I'll just open one estimate cards. So it will have the basic customer information and the project information. In the opportunity tab, you will be able to track or link with the opportunities as well. So who is a salesperson? What is the tender closing date? And what is the opportunity status? You can track all the opportunity information. So when you prepare the estimation, obviously there will be a bill of quantities or multiple activities or tasks which needs to be performed as part of the project. Okay, so you'll be able to prepare the estimation or BOQ lines. In some industry like interior fit outs, the estimation or BOQ is shared by the customer. So you'll be able to upload them into NABuild so that you don't need to spend time on creating those BOQ lines manually. So you'll be able to upload through Excel file or other files. So once you upload the BOQ or type them manually with the quantities, for example, so this is a construction project. So I can group them based on the different groups like depth excavation or first floor, second floor, different groupings you can make. So once you build up the bill of quantities or you upload the bill of quantities, with the quantity of each and every bill of quantity, you need to attach with the rate analysis card. So the rate analysis card is the composition of activities. For example, I'm just going through the rate analysis master. Just opening one of them. Okay, so this is the rate analysis card for 1 cubic feet of PCC column concrete. Okay, so for this particular activity or particular quantity, so what are all the items and resources are required? So basically, it's a composition of items and resources. Okay, so in the lines you will be able to attach the resources and items. The resource can be your own resource or it can be a subcontractor activity, because most of the construction industry, most of the activities are subcontractor. So you'll be able to attach them as a subcontracting activity, or in some cases you don't know the exact resource, but you can attach as a resource group. For example, there are project managers or project engineers, so you will not be able to exactly mention the name. So you can mention just a group of project manager or group of project engineers, electrical engineers. You can, instead of selecting a particular resource which you don't know the during pre-bidding stage, you will be able to select the groups. Okay, so similarly you will be able to calculate the scrap wastages. You can capture those parameters with the cost. So finally you'll be able to arrive the cost for each and every rate analysis card. Okay, so once you have it in master, so when you are preparing the estimation, you'll be able to attach them in the BOQ lines. Okay, so once you attach them, you'll be able to arrive the cost for each and every activity. So apart from that, there will be a margins, right? So you'll be able to assign the margins or define the margins at estimated card level. So whether you can define at the project margin or you can define material separately or resource separately. So this is basically a markup. Okay, so there is unit cost coming from the rate cards. Apart from that, you'll be adding the margins. So the system will arrive you the price for each and every BOQ lines. Okay, so once you process this, so you'll be able to see BOQ wise what is the cost and what is the price. Okay, so apart from the margins, you will be able to add the additional charges like loading charges, other charges also you will be able to define at the estimate card level. So now you have defined the total cost and price for the project. So definitely there will be a multiple iterations during the negotiation with the customer. Customer may change the rates or scope. So you can make all the changes by creating multiple versions. So you'll be able to create multiple versions. So later on, you can compare what was the original budget, original estimate, and what are the changes you have made subsequently. Okay. So once you have finalized the final quotation, you can submit to the customer. So assume that the project is awarded for you, then you'll be able to create baseline budgets. Okay, so once the project is awarded, you will be creating baseline budget, and from here you can convert the estimate as a job. Okay, so if the project is not awarded, you can close the estimation, then you can move on. So this is the estimation process. Apart from this process, there could be possibility of creating some customers may issue RFQ to multiple vendors for getting a quotation. So you'll be able to create estimate codes, and you can do the code comparison that can be updated in the estimate cards. So this is all about the estimate model. Is there any question so that I can move into the next model?
Fine, Prakash. Fine, Prakash.
Okay. So once the project is awarded, that will be converted as the project or job, so which is ready for executing it. So when you start the project, obviously the first step would be creating schedules, the planning basically. Okay, so for that planning, so we have MS project integration, so that whatever the job task or the BOQs can be exported into MS project. Okay, so for example, these are the job tasks which I need to carry out when I am executing the project. So for better planning, to use the MS project advantages, so we are just pushing this data into MS project, you can work on the start date and end dates based on the predecessors or multiple dependent processes. Then you can push back the data into Business Center. Okay, so that MS project integration is two-way integration is available. So once you've done the scheduling, the actual execution starts. Okay.
Hello.
So yeah.
Hello. Just a small clarification. So the project module that you are discussing here, is that the standard job module in Business Central, or is it additional?
Yeah. So we have a couple of presentation after this demo. So we can highlight what are the difference between the default NAV jobs model or BC jobs model and the NAV build. We will highlight those differentiators. Other thing are, so basically we are using the base jobs model, but on top of it, we have, based on the industry requirement, we have developed a lot of enhancements, elaborated functionalities on top of jobs model. Okay.
Thank you.
So for example, the previous model which I showcased you, the estimation model, which is not available by default. It's completely enhanced for NAV build as a NAV build functionality. Okay.
Yes, clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So once the scheduling is done, let me switch to the other role center so that I can showcase material management. Basically, as a add-on solution, it comes with multiple role center pages as well. I'm just changing my role as project manager. Okay, so when we start executing the project, basically we are bifurcating into two aspects of the execution. One is what are all the transactions related to items that comes under material management process or workflow. What are the resources, either it is internal resource or your own equipments or the subcontracting activities, that is separated as a resource management model. So let me start with the material management process. Okay. So basically the execution starts from the material requisition or the purchase requisition happens at the site level. So being a site engineer or site person, I want some materials which required for a particular month or particular period against a particular project. So I'll be able to create the purchase requisition from the bill of quantities. Okay, so I can call the bill of quantities, I can choose the project, I can call the bill of quantities. From there, I can choose the activity which needs to be performed, so that system automatically inserts the items required to perform the particular activity. Okay, so in this example, if you notice at line level, there are multiple items required for executing a particular activity. Okay, so when the system inserts the line, system automatically does the budget validations. Okay, so the other differentiator I would see from the default NAV or BC's jobs model, here we are doing a lot of budget controlling system. Okay, so the system validates the budget then and there and inform you. So this is completely configurable, whether you can decide whether you want to skip the budget validations or you want to stick to these budgets. So system will not allow you to create a purchase requisition at all, or you can trigger the notification, or you can trigger notification with the approvals. So it is completely configurable based on the project to project. It may differ. Okay, so in the fact box, right hand side fact box, you can see the particular material. So what is the budgeted quantity, what is the budgeted value, how much so far you have approved, the unapproved quantity is the current purchase requisition, what is the balance budget available. So you can do a complete tracking of your budget. Okay, so the budget control is one main differentiator when we compare with the default jobs model. Okay. So once the intent is raised, the purchase requisition is raised, so we can send it for approval. So through the approval workflow, default approval workflow, once it is approved, it moves to the purchase department or procurement department for procurement or further process. Okay. So here we have added one more functionality when compared to the default one. There is a job demand planning. So the procurement team or planning team needs to run the job demand planning. So that system will calculate all the demands coming from various projects, various sites, so many based on the purchase intents or work order intents. In the screen, you'll be able to decide whether you want to go for a straight purchase workflow, meaning there is a regular material, for example, cement. It's a regular item. I have a contract with a vendor. So automatically I can release the purchase order to the particular vendor. So this is a direct flow. If it is a new item, most of the scenarios, so what they will do, so they will issue the request for quotation, RFQs to multiple vendors. So vendor will submit the quotations. You will get this quotation from various vendors. You will compare the quote comparisons. Then you can issue the purchase order to the best vendor or L1 vendor. Okay, so these two workflow can be decided based on the business scenarios. So the procurement team can use this particular screen and they can decide so in which workflow they want to move forward. Okay, it is also for the not only for purchases, it's similar process is similar for resource planning also. Whether it is internal resource or external resource planning also the same process to be followed. Okay, so here you can do the vendor mapping. So basically you can not necessarily all the items will be supplied with by multiple suppliers. So you can attach the vendor. You can basically creating a vendor mapping with an item. So that system will trigger the RFQs to map the vendors. Okay. So assume that I am just creating RFQs to multiple vendors or mapped vendors. Here, so we have vendor self-service portal. So this vendor, it starts from vendor onboarding process itself. Basically, the vendors can register them in our portal. So once the vendor registration is completed, so vendor gets onboarded into our vendor portal. So each and every vendor will have their own username and password and credentials. So they will be able to access this vendor portal or vendor management portal. So they can see their RFQs which are released to the particular vendor. Sorry. So they will be able to log and they can see their RFQs. They can see their purchase orders and purchase invoice payments.
Prakash, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Since this vendor management system has been developed by us, CTAS, will this be developed in a way that it could be only compatible with Microsoft Dynamics, or it can be compatible with any other ERP systems as well?
Yeah, so it's basically it requires the information from an ERP system. It is currently developed as the integration developed for the NAV and the Business Central.
Okay.
So if it is required, we can extend it to other ERP, let's say SAP or something. We have had some inquiries in that area, but it would need that integration to be built. We do have ready APIs available. We could integrate with other systems also.
The reason I asked the question, Murli, like, we have a client who's looking for, who just like implemented an SAP and he's looking for a vendor management. So that's what I just asked this question.
Yeah, we've had several discussions with SAP customers looking for vendor portal. So we have had some discussions. Obviously, the integration will have to be a part of the project and not a ready built integration. That's the only difference. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Hello. I have a small concern.
Yeah,
right. Can we omit? I mean, is there any option that we are not going to purchase the vendor management, but go ahead with the other, the project management, expense management, management, that one, without
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
all
absolutely,
right,
yes,
okay.
because it's an optional component. So if you have multiple vendors, you want to extend the application to multiple vendors, yes, it's an optional component only. So without which you'll be able to continue the other processes of NAB.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the vendor management portal. So the vendor can see their RFQs. So they can update their quotation in the portal itself, so that automatically it gets synced with the NABL's quotation. So later on, so once you got the quotation from multiple vendors, so you'll be able to do the quote comparisons as well. Okay, so there is a purchase quote comparison screen where you can choose the particular requisition. Choose one, and so there is a report. Not only we are not only comparing the cost information, we are also comparing the other terms and conditions of technical specifications or commercial parameters as well. So you'll be able to. I got only two quotation from two quotation from the vendors, so I can compare those quotation. So here, if you notice, there is a strength. It's additional technical parameters which can be compared, as well as the commercial parameters also can be compared. So once this is a printout format, similarly we have a page as well. So here you can do the comparison, and you can choose the best one, and you'll be able to release purchase order from this quote comparison screen. So once,
yeah. Excuse me, another small concern. So here for the purchase quote, for the quotes, are you using the standard purchase quote module, or is this a different one for the material management, which is right from material?
Yes. Yeah, so technically the purchase code functionality we are using it, because that's a baseline. On top of it, we have made a lot of additional enhancements so that it can handle the terms and conditions. You can compare the technical parameters, you can compare the commercial parameters. Those are the additional enhancements we have done.
Okay, thank you.
So then the regular purchase order. So for the sake of the other users, I'm just explaining the purchase process as well. So we'll be able to release the purchase orders, and there is a purchase order approval workflow. So we can trigger. So once the purchase order is approved, you'll be able to receive the items. So when you receive the items at site or project location, you'll be able to make the GRN or purchase receipts. So based on that, you'll be able to post the purchase invoices, which hits your financial accounting accounts payable model. Okay. So these are the material management workflow. Is there any question?
Fine, Prakash.
Hello.
We are fine. We are fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Okay. So now we have seen the material management process flow. Simply, anything related to resource. The resource can be your internal or the external resource, like subcontractor or subcontracting activities. You are completely subcontracting a particular activity. So that is also comes under the managed under the resource management model. So again, the workflow is pretty much same as we have seen for material management. The actual execution starts from the work order requisitions, which is basically raised from the site or the project manager. So system validates the budget for the particular resource or particular BOQ lines. You can go through the approval process. So once the requisition is approved, so you'll be able to here there is a two transactions. One is the internal work order and the external work order. So anything you want to do with your own resources, you'll be able to release the internal work orders. So anything you want to do with the external vendors or the subcontractors, you can issue the external work orders, which is similar to the purchase order contract. Okay. So I'm just opening the internal work order screen. So I will say, so these are the activities which needs to be performed for the particular period for the project, so that our internal resource or project manager or site engineer can start doing the work based on the internal work order. So to the external work order, so this relates to the different. Again, here also you will be able to go through the RFQ process. So you can do RFQ to multiple vendors, and the vendor will submit the quotations. You can do the quote comparison. Then you can issue the work order to the best vendor or the cheapest vendor. So assume that we have issued a work order to a particular vendor. So here you have two options. You can release the work order for a BOQ or the particular activity itself, or you can break them up. You can give multiple, basically the resources. For example, for doing one activity, there could be multiple resources are required. So you may subcontract at resource level also, or BOQ level also. You will be able to issue the work order to vendors. Okay, so assume there is a cost and the basic line items. So we can go through the approval mechanism. So once the work order is issued to the vendor, so they will start executing the work, right? So whenever they complete a job or complete the particular activity, so you'll be able to record them in the system. So using the MBOK process. So the measurement book, which we are calling, so MBOK, which is the work done updation. So whenever the subcontractor is completing a job, so they will update you, or your own QS team or quality surveyor will verify those work done, and they will acknowledge the work completion. So based on this information, you'll be able to record the work completion based on the work order. Okay. So for example, the work done total work order quantity is 250. So against which the completion quantity is 100. So the completion is 40%, for example, and what is the completion amount? So here you have additional options to normally the companies will issue the advance payments to the vendor. So they will issue the advance payments. Then each and every bill they want to deduct the advances in each and every bills, and there could be some retentions or some additional charges or deductions, so that can be managed in the MBOK itself. Okay. So once you update the MBOK, you'll be able to create the invoices, which is updated in your accounts payable module. Okay. So the other normal scenario in construction industry would be, actually you are supposed to issue the material, but you have some shortages. The vendor may bring the material, so that can be accommodated. That scenarios can be accommodated in the MBOK itself. So vice versa. So the vendor has to bring the material, but due to shortage or something, you are giving the material to vendors. So those scenarios can be accommodated in the MBOK screen. Okay. So in most of the construction or interior fit out scenarios, in the subcontracting, managing the subcontracting is the tedious job. So you don't know how much they have completed and against which project they have completed, against which task, when they have completed, what is the, whether it is accepted by our own project manager or quality surveyor. So that's the main challenge in the construction or any project subcontracting activities. So that can be completely tracked, completely controlled in the through the external work order and MBOK mechanisms. Okay, so this is the complete workflow of the resource management cycle. Is there any question?
Fine, Prakash.
Okay. So apart from this, so there is a project journal or job journal. So basically, it needs to be updated whenever there is a consumption. So you have issued the material to the sites. The site people, the storekeeper keeps the material, and you are issuing based on the requirement. They are issuing it to the project site. So those consumption of materials needs to be uploaded, updated in the system, so that system calculates the actual consumption against the project. Okay, so this is the main another differentiator when compared to the default product default jobs model. So in default jobs model, so whenever you purchase an item, so automatically that gets loaded into project WIP. So you will not be able to track the inventory. So here in NABL, we have option to keep the inventory, and you can make the manual consumptions as well. So that's the other differentiator, I would say. Okay, so these are the execution process flow. The other main challenges in any project-centric business is to control the scope of work. So there could be some additional scope or additional requirement from the customer. So we have a variation orders where you'll be able to clearly track what are all the additional requirement from the customer. Also, there could be some scenario where you need to do some additional work because of your own mistake or your own some wrong design or wrong activity. You need to do some additional work. For that, you need to have some additional resources or materials. So that can be managed using the variation orders. So later on, the purpose of this variation order is, so you have estimation, you have a baseline budget, you have the additional requirements from the customer. So you can clearly track the actuals. You can clearly compare the actual with the estimate or with the variation or the baseline budget. So that's the purpose of variation order. Here you will be able to mark them whether it is a billable or non-billable. So if it is a billable, customer is asking some additional requirements on top of the existing scope. It is a completely billable. So you will be able to make the invoices to the customer. If it is a non-billable, due to some your own internal problem, so you are doing some rework kind of stuff. So you can mark it as a non-billable activities. So here you'll be able to create additional bill of quantities or change in the existing bill of quantity. So these are the different scenarios handled in variation order. So you can create new activity itself or BOQ, change in the bill of quantities or change in the composition like item, resource or resource groups. So that can be handled through variation orders. Okay. So this is the another pain point in most of the project-centric business, where the organization unable to differentiate what was the original scope, what are the additional changes or the requirements from the customer. So that is handled in the NABL. Okay, so any questions so far?
And Prakash.
Okay. So the other differentiator is you will be able to calculate the earned value for all the projects, so for a given time, so that you, at any point in time you will be get to know the earned value for the projects, for each and every projects. So these are the additional, so these are the reports related to jobs. Just show some examples. Okay, so also we have main project and sub projects. So suppose if you want to include the sub projects as well, you can include them. We have multiple project related reports. Okay, so we can take the budget as actuals. So for material wise or BOQ wise, or any task level or BOQ wise, of course, and the cost categories. So the cost categories like item cost or resource cost, subcontracting cost. So budget versus actuals. So I think this is a complete new project. So there is no actual so far. So you can see the BOQ wise, what is the that an actual on difference. So we have a cost categories versus actuals. So you can do the comparison, variation order comparisons, and you can see the overall project requirement. So this is very helpful for the planners. So you can put some dates and you can update the material required and resources required for the given project. So system will give you the complete list of what are the items and the resources required. Okay, so for example, so cement. So what is the budgeted quantity so far? How much we have consumed? How much requisition has raised from the site? How much is received? Committed quantity. So we are also capturing the committed cost basically. So the committed cost is, so we have issued the purchase order or work order to vendors. So we are committed to them. So that is calculated as the committed quantity and committed cost and on order and stock on hand in the particular project location. So at the bottom, so this is for the resources. Okay, so and the projected invoicing, the other thing I want to showcase here at the customer billing side. So whenever you complete a job, so basically we are marking the project type as either fixed bid, based on the time and material or the milestone based billing. Okay, so that is captured at the project card itself. So as and when you are okay to make invoice to the customer based on the project type, you can make the customer running bills. So which is similar to subcontractor running bill. So you'll be able to create the customer running bills. Let me open one existing project. So from here, you'll be able to issue the invoices to your customers. For example, we have raised one invoice against this project. So there is a customer inbook where you will have the complete breakdown of what are all the activities are completed. So for example, I have completed these two activities. So since it is a time and material project, so I'll be able to raise the invoice to my customer. So you can choose, and you can, from here you can post the sales invoices. Okay, so the invoice is posted. It's a posted sales invoice number. So you can have a complete track of your customer billing as well. Okay, so you can have the projected invoicing activity progress report. For example, just so for this particular project, so these are the BOQ lines. So with the plan dates, so what is the plan for the current month? What is the plan for the current period? So you can week-wise planning. You can keep a track of it. Okay, so there are some cash flows. Project cash flow you can take apart from the default cash flow forecast. This is based on the complete project-based cash flow, and activity-wise, what is the contribution, and the end-value analysis, project costing, and summary. So these are the reports related to project management. So any other question?
Prakash?
Yeah.
There's a question from Niranjan.
Yeah, please tell me.
He has some issue with the mic. He says how WAP works in now build WAP calculations.
Okay. Yeah. So as regards to the WAP calculations, so we are going with the default WAP calculations. So there is nothing specific to NABL because we are going with the default WAP mechanisms. So you can define the WAP method at project level. You can run the WAP using job WAP cockpits. So it's pretty much similar, or we are using the default job WAP mechanisms.
Next question is
Prakash.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Prakash. So when it comes to WIP method, is there any recommended method that you are saying for this, especially for the construction industry, because it has cost of sales, percentage of completion, different 5 methods in the standard application.
Yeah.
Anything else
So
that you recommend?
Yeah, widely used method is percentage of completion, POC method. So that's the most of the people are using the POC WAP method only.
Okay, so the chart of accounts and all these job sales, everything, those functionalities are same, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, of course. So I can show the job setup. You know the job setup. So on top of job setup, default job setup, we have made the additional setups basically. So we have included the additional configurations related to NABL. So you can notice here. So NABL configurations in the default job setup itself. So what is a sales account, or end value, start date and end dates, any specific GL accounts. So that's all the basic chart of accounts we are using.
Okay, so if you take the sales invoice account, so this is different to the job sale account, is it? or job sales invoice?
Yeah, the same. Both are same one.
Same account. All right. Okay.
Same. Okay, same. Okay. So the other question from Mr. Niranjan is what, Prakash?
Now, what is the link between nav build and the financial module?
I think that is related to the WAP.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I think it's related to WAP. Yeah, I think it's already addressed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So since it is an add-on vertical, so the base models are same, like financial management, fixed assets, everything is same. So on top of it, so these are the additional modules specific to the project-centric vertical. So the other chart of accounts are pretty much same. Okay. So maybe we have added some more GL accounts to manage the advances, reduction of retentions, vendor retentions, customer retentions. Those are the additional GL accounts which we have captured at the chart of accounts. So other functionalities are pretty much same.
Or in other words, what we can say is the basic jobs module does a good job of project accounting, and we have not tweaked that at all. What we have done is extended to handle project management aspects such as scheduling, estimations, operational aspects of bringing in the site collaboration, collaborating with vendors. So these are all the various operational aspects we have streamlined and optimized for a construction company. So that's basically the crux of nav building, can say.
Okay. So there's another small question. Could you please show us, is it possible to show the integration with the MS project with this? Because you have said that there is a link with the MS project when it comes to the job task and the planning lines. So can you show us how does it link?
Prakash, maybe it's not pointing to the right database. So as you can see here, the add-ins, this is basically home add-in we have written within Microsoft Project. And when you go there, you can see there is a BC to MPP integration or MPP to BC integration, it's a two-way integration. So when you click on it, you will have to select the company and the project for which you want to synchronize the data. And it will pull up the BOQ or the job task line data from the Business Central and populate here. You can do all updates in terms of the duration, start finish, resource constraints, predecessors, relationships, everything you can do here and then export it back into the Business Central. So that's basically how it is.
Okay, then this integration is only for the job task or the planning lines?
Only the job task. The planning line basically it's more about how you do the
Only
task,
for
isn't it? I mean,
yes, resources,
what
items, all this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are more working on the task line because so that you can actually, when you plan your purchases and so on, you can keep the timeline also into the consideration. Meaning you don't have to purchase for a 2-year project or a material which is required after a year and a half, isn't it? You only have to plan with the time horizon in place, which is not there in the job model, which we have done through this integration. Okay. And our job demand planning also is a timeline into consideration when it does the plan. Okay.
Okay. Where do you do the setup in with for the integration? Is it on BC?
There is no setup. It's basically an add-in license which we will give once you buy NavBuild, and once you install the license within your APP, the COM add-in components will automatically sit in. It's like, you write an Excel macro kind of. So that's how the command is.
All right. Okay.
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 Yeah. Niranjan, I think the question about the project scheduling is again addressed when we showed the Microsoft project. You're okay with this, or you have any other questions? We not only have integration with the Microsoft projects, we have integration with the Primavera also, because in some markets, Primavera is very popular in scheduling. So we can do the similar job task line, integration, two-way integration with Primavera as well. Okay, so that's basically the demo, and we are also overshooting the time a little bit. So we want to cover the differences between nav and nav build, but I think we have sort of done that as we went along the demo. Prakash highlighted what is what was there in base nav and what is that we have done additionally. And we had a kind of question and answer, which also I think we kind of went along and addressed questions then and there. So if there are any further questions, both myself and Prakash can take up any questions you might have, or otherwise we will wrap it up in a minute or so.
Yeah, Murali, a small question, right? Can we get about the details about the pricing and the things through this demo, or are you going to email us separately?
Yeah. We will actually get back to you with the deck, with the presentation, where you will have pricing details, and then that will be sent by Prakash Nandaraj, who is our Director of Sales and Marketing. And any further commercial questions, you can continue to have it. He's on the call as well, but he will be emailing you that presentation to all the registered participants, and then you can get back to us if there are any questions. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so if there are no further questions, we will wrap up. Thank you very much for joining today. Much appreciated for your time. And like I said, we will get back to you with the presentation where it will have the pricing information and the contact information. And we look forward to what we will do in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.